every time Pep says someone's guaranteed to play because they have no choice, he really drops them.
Do you think if Benny McCarthy was still there instead of Van Nistelrooy and Ten Hag was sacked, do you think Benny McCarthy would have been manager of Manchester United?
Because he's got.
I want to be back on top. Seeing City lose would just be incredible.
So, hello everybody.
Silent. You were silent out of what's it called? Due to lack of Razeen.
Hello everybody who's joining the stream again. Again, unfortunately, our first stream had audio difficulties. But Razeen is back with us, so good things happen when we wait. Unfortunately, Razeen, you have no spot on the first page because your name is no longer here. I'll have to add you.
I see. Fair enough. I mean, you guys have to redo the whole stream, not me, so I don't mind, not featuring fully. Because being here is enough to
So
get the sound back underway.
if anybody wants to watch a stream with a voiceless me, it'll be up on our Kick. So, because you're probably catching this on YouTube. So if you want to see something funny for an hour, which is actually not that funny for me,
It's gonna be me talking to myself the entire
the
stream.
whole hour. I can't delete it, but I just feel like I'm not going to.
Get me on, and I'm prepared to laugh at the meme of the week for the very first time, unlike you guys.
Razeen, welcome. Happy to have you.
Good to be back. I feel
Maybe
like I've
Even
met
though,
too much,
even
but for
even
viewers, I
though
would hear
technically
last
you never
week.
left. Yeah, you never really left.
I have you now coming up on stream in a very small head in the middle.
Are we gonna tell our viewers that I recorded a video in my absence and all of that? Or are we just gonna pretend none of it
No,
ever
We have to
happened?
play. We still have to
we'll
play
have
the
to play
video.
it. We have to play it. Razeen, me and Waseem spoke already, so let's get your opinion. What did you think of Game Week 9? Green arrow for you. Highest point scoring.
Small green arrow. One line of Mohammed Waseem's from the Instagram deadline stream just stayed in my head, and that was that he has other players. Because Salah might have done well, but it didn't really make much of a difference because his other players ensured he stayed above me. So still a lot of catching up to be done. And yeah, I think the midweek games, especially yesterday's games, really gonna change what we were thinking and all of that. So yeah, I mean, I watched Friday Night Football. Forrest looked great. Chris Wood was great. I was quite happy with his performance. Vardy just, it was just like I saw a few memes about it being classic Barclays strikers again, Wood and
Yes,
Vardy on the score sheet. So
100%.
it was great. It feels like a lifetime ago because it was a Friday night game after so long, which was quite cool. But yeah, last week Friday was a vibe. And then Saturday, there was no lunchtime kickoff. I was a bit gutted about that. But some good games on the goal rush. Obviously, I think everyone had their eyes on City, given how many of my fellow cartel members decided to triple captain Erling Haaland. It almost paid off, but I think the rest of us got a bit lucky because I think he had about 8 shots or something, or 8 chances, you were saying, missed, and he scored only one. So, I mean, it was good for us who captained him, but disappointing for those who triple captained him. I think I got quite unlucky as well with Foden because he was on the pitch, but he was doing a lot, but he wasn't doing enough from an FPL perspective. And I probably got even more unlucky with Foden last night when he played full game against Spurs. Congratulations, Mohammed Waseem, on your
No, he went
team
off
victory.
57 minutes. No, he didn't play the full
Did
game.
he?
He went off. He went off
Oh
57 minutes,
wow.
yeah. Before
Okay,
60.
because I was watching till the Liverpool
Mm.
game ended, and I think that one did start about 30 minutes
Yeah,
later.
30
So
minutes earlier. So he went it quite
yeah.
quite quickly, to be honest. So it's actually great because I know Pep was very considerate for a lot of the players that he had just to get them off the pitch, just to ensure that he can save some legs. The only concern is Lewis at the moment because he played 90 minutes again last night, which is unfortunate from
Mm.
an FPL perspective. Because but Pep came out with a statement, I think, after the game saying that he wishes he could rest Lewis at the moment, but he's the only player he can't rest them on because he's got no depth in that position, which is
He's only got
unfortunate.
13 fit outfield players or something like that for the
Mm,
weekend, right?
yeah, and
Which
and
is
and the
which is
worry,
very well.
yeah, and the worry is the only other person that could probably replace Lewis at the moment is Akanji, and he ended up not starting the game, so he was on the team sheet, but just before the game started, I think he picked up a knock in the warm up, so he ended up going onto the bench and didn't play any part in the game. So if he's not fit,
So,
then it makes it better for us that Lewis will play.
yeah.
But you know, Pep
Wow,
every
okay,
time he
that's
says
fascinating.
someone's yeah, every time Pep says someone's guaranteed to play because they have no choice, he usually drops them over the weekend anyway. So I don't get my hopes up.
Okay, so that's yeah, okay. So that probably means we should hold on to any City players we have that are fit. But the advantage is we're probably going to have one more press conference from him before the game, so we'll get to
Yeah,
see
should
get
have
to hear an
one
update.
tomorrow. And I think
And
it's good
I'm
good
glad
for
I'm here.
Foden for us. Yeah, it's good for
I don't have to
Foden.
take him out tonight, you know.
Yeah.
No, that's great news.
Yeah. The Everton Fulham one, I think Fulham were unlucky not to get more returns in that game. Everton out of nowhere came back with some results. I was actually quite bleak about that one because McNeil went off, I think, in the 60 something minute off injured, which was quite
Oof.
unfortunate. But actually, I was a little bit fortunate he was on my bench, but he's actually carrying a knock at the moment, so I don't even know if he's going to play this week. And I was hoping to play him against Southampton, which would be a good result, or rather, hopefully, give a chance for decent returns there. So that was it was a painful watch, I think, at a point because of how many chances were missed. And you know, Everton have been trying to bowl a lot of games at the moment, so their games haven't been as entertaining to watch. I still think
And
the game of the weekend was the Brentford one, where Brentford Ipswich, the 4-3. That was a really
yeah,
solid watch.
yeah, I didn't have I had one eye on it, but I was obviously
Mm.
waiting to see what Haaland does. I was expecting him to score like 5 times.
Mm.
Thankfully, that didn't happen.
And
But yeah,
three big chances missed, there's three massive chances that he missed. So I think the guys that triple captain him just got very unlucky, and that shows the luck part of FPL where that kicks in to say that. I mean, he was, I think, through one-on-one three times. I think
oh
scored
yeah,
once, missed the
yeah.
other two, and then missed a really big chance in the game as well, which is unfortunate.
I mean, Vardy looked really good in that game early on, especially.
Mhm.
I told you guys to keep an eye on him and stuff, and he got 3 bonus as well. So that's a very very good have, I think. And maybe
Yeah.
would you buy him right now?
I
Probably
brought
I
him
buy
think
him
he
into my
came
before the game.
team.
close.
I brought him into my team just before the deadline. And our deadline stream, we were
But
talking
he's
about it.
flagged now, right? He's also
That's the
injured.
thing. It looks
But I don't think it's a bad one. I don't think it's a
mm,
bad one.
And then
so
just
we'll
back on that Everton game, I see the guy who scored Beto. He came on with 10 minutes to play for Calvert-Lewin and scored. Is that right?
That is
yeah.
correct.
Wow. So Calvert-Lewin owners, I think it's really time to get rid, especially when you've got players like Wood and Raul Jimenez firing, I guess.
We were discussing it and the fixtures for Everton just look too good to take him out if you're having problems elsewhere, like I am. So I think for now he's just a stay based on the
Well,
rest of the
they play
team.
Southampton next, right? Who
That's
Yeah,
the
you don't
thing.
really
the
have
worst team in
a
the league.
strike before you play Southampton. Fair enough.
Mm.
So we don't triple captain like we did the last like most people did the last striker that versus Southampton, but we keep and I think I do think he's one to get out. If you wildcarding now or you planning to wildcard soon, he's definitely one that there's no point keeping him. He's not a cheap option. He's not the cheapest option. There's others at 5.5 who are delivering, and he's not delivering at his price point. There's others at 6.1, 6.2 who are looking much better. I
Okay,
think
interesting. Let's go on to
yeah.
Sunday's game then, shall we?
Yeah.
Chelsea, Newcastle. A win for
Well,
Chelsea there, but a defeat to Newcastle last night in the cup.
yeah.
Anyone have a look at that game and see who played for Chelsea and what exactly happened there?
So
It was a
Chelsea,
Chelsea second team. They play
yeah,
the second team, so they have a midweek team and they have a weekend team by the way things look at the moment. Or a Premier League team and a cup team, to be honest. So it's the same team that usually plays the Europa League game with a couple of mix
So our boy in
bag players here
played.
and there. Yeah, and so Nkunku plays, João Felix plays, Dewsbury Hall plays. I think who else played there? That was and their backline was completely all their reserves, or rather their
yeah,
backup defenders, and I think almost all their backup mids as well. So they did a proper rotation there in that competition, which I found a little bit weird, seeing as they aren't. I mean, they're not in a big European competition. The Conference League doesn't really take as much energy out of them. So I thought they may play one or two of the premium players from their Premier League team. So I was quite surprised. But I mean, Palmer looks really good for Chelsea at the moment. He
He
unfortunately
does.
didn't play last night for them, but in the
Indeed.
weekend he had a goal disallowed for offside, which was very close. He had a penalty. I mean, there was a penalty that they could have been given VAR overturned, so that was relatively close. And I mean, he did get the goal as well, so he's looking really dangerous for them at the
I think
moment.
Jackson is too, though. I mean, he's been quite consistent.
Yeah.
Another goal for him. Did he
Mm.
play any minute last night?
I don't know if he came on. I didn't really follow much of the Chelsea game, but I
And
know he didn't start.
I'll check quickly for you. I don't think he did though. As far as I know, Nkunku played most of that, and I
Mm.
saw João Felix missed. Like they were talking about a few chances that he missed. But Newcastle, from the highlights that I caught, Newcastle looked very dominant in the midfield in that game, particularly Tonali and Joe Linton. Nani Madueke came on for Kevin Ridley Hall. That was the only substitute Chelsea made.
And then Spurs got defeated to Crystal Palace. I won't dwell too
Yeah.
much. It was a great result for you guys last night. Is this the tournament you guys are really going all out for this season?
I think they're gonna try and push more in the cups, to be honest. In the league, obviously they'll
Yeah,
try, but I think Spurs' away form at the moment's been quite shocking. Three
tough
wins
draw.
in
United
2024.
next up.
Yeah.
I
Unfortunately,
just
it's at home. I think when we travel away, we just really bad.
I
Yeah.
wa- I'd like to point out, speaking about Palace in particular, I know it's been painful for Waseem, but Henderson with a clean sheet, finally. And the other point is Palace also won midweek. Eze seems to pick up some sort of knock, but we're not sure the extent of it. But I mean, I did flag it that I'm looking at Palace players as well. The fixtures are not the best, but
Mm.
they're looking more on form than they were at the start of the season. And
Definitely. United's result, big shock. The sacking is probably something you guys spoke a lot about earlier, or no?
yeah, it
We
was
did chat about it.
Mohammed Waseem dubbed the game last week El Sakiko. He mentioned that it was dubbed El
I'm happy
Saki.
someone actually got sacked. I'm actually happy
Yeah,
someone got sacked. I'm just for because so many times it gets dubbed as that, and the sacking happens like 2 or 3 weeks later, which is too late. But
so
I think that was a big one, huh? Big news, I guess, of the week with Ten Hag going. But the only thing that was surprising about it was that why did they take so long to get rid of him? Instead, I mean, they're probably weeks.
based on results, based on the way they were playing, nothing made sense. They weren't beating the small teams. They were catching high into the big teams. It was just every week was getting more painful. It was just
Mm.
um, it was a bit beautiful to watch from our side. I
Sure.
actually I remember telling you guys, I didn't mention this to you, Mohammed, but I remember telling you guys that I'm so looking forward to watching the highlights of West Ham versus Manchester United because I
Yeah, I
couldn't
remember
believe
seeing
that they lost because I missed the game completely. But when I actually watched the highlights, it was actually not so it was not so one-sided. I was surprised. I was surprised by the penalty decision. We spoke about that as well. That it didn't. None of us thought it was a penalty. It was a very, very harsh decision to give a
it
penalty like
was, it
that.
was.
Dello missed a sitter, and it looked like
Youth
United
of the
missed a
season.
fair few. Yeah, United missed a fair
Good
few
chances
chances. They were unlucky, but it was time. It was time to now went. And now we can actually start looking at United assets.
We can. I mean, they already bounced back last night, so that's quite
there.
something.
Yeah,
And
you
it was
you
a very statement type of performance last night. I mean, putting 5 goals past Leicester, as much as I don't think Leicester played their full strength
Yeah,
side
Leicester
themselves.
didn't, and
Yeah,
they even
they
scored
did
twice,
rotate.
so there's
Mm,
definitely some defensive problems at United still.
Yeah, but Mo Waseem was saying that looking at a new manager, and apparently he plays a back three with quite far up wing backs. So Mazraoui and Dello, we would have to keep an eye on as well.
mm.
And also just to be wary, like we
Mazraoui
think.
plays number 10 these days, so
Mm.
I think he's a what's it called? He's a no-brainer at this point in time. I mean,
And
like
he didn't get
they
a
should have
chance to
sacked him
see Ten
as
Hag
soon as
pull
he
that
said
off.
that. Like I would have sacked him before that game even started. He said he's going to play Mazraoui as a 10. I would have said, you know what, Kazi, it's okay. It's okay. We'll handle it from here. When
Yeah.
Ishmael is here, he'll deal with this game.
I think
Um,
now it's time for the meme of the week. Who was actually playing fantasy football while they were supposed to be doing something else?
the VAR guy
The
has
VR guy.
FPL open. Unbelievable.
That is
Unbelievable.
incredible. How is that? What a meme. That is absolutely
That's so funny.
The
It
scary thing
was,
is they actually spoke about it afterwards to say it was another app or something.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
So
commented on it. It
it
wasn't
was
fake.
debunked. It was debunked, and it was actually a match day app that the referee was in charge of updating the match day app.
So they say.
yeah.
So
Mm.
they
But it makes sense for it to have been FPL. I mean, with the way some of the decisions end up going, um, especially on the FPL, it's all those supported by the VAR. So I mean, if these folks have some of the players in their teams, they give more favorable decisions to guys on penalties and let some offsides go. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Football is rigged, by the way. But um, we got the team of the week up. So we already spoke about the results. We just looking at the
Speaking
team of
about
the
all
week.
the games except the biggest game of the
Oh,
weekend,
he
what
said
did
the
you guys
biggest
think
game.
of Arsenal Liverpool?
Oh yeah, we didn't chat about that. I thought Arsenal were up for it.
I agree.
They really
Hmm.
they're known for their dark arts, but they surprised us and they played against us and they tried for that victory. They definitely didn't deserve to lose the game. So I think a point is fair.
Hmm.
Salah to the rescue as well. I think Salah played phenomenally, but Saka as well, phenomenal. His goal was really good.
Brilliant.
Hmm.
And a very good team game from Arsenal as well, particularly with all the injuries. I think it was more of Arsenal's game to fight for. They
But I
had
think
They
they
that's
were
the
at home.
narrative.
They were at
That's been
home.
the media narrative, all their
Hmm.
injuries.
yeah
They don't have so many injuries.
they got
They really
suspensions.
don't. It's literally two to three players that were out. Saka was back in the starting
Yeah,
11.
he was
They
there.
had a brilliant first half, but I just think that his tactics in the second half were completely like very Mourinho-like. I seen that somewhere.
But it's
Someone was
but it's
saying
been
that
like that the whole season. Arteta
I
plays. I mean,
know,
since
but that's what
Odegaard
I'm
got
saying. I think
injured,
like he's getting credit.
he just
He's
sits
getting a
back.
bit too much credit for the way, for how many injuries he has and how he managed through all those injuries and stuff. I agree they were way better in the first half, but I feel like tactically he shut the game down and he stopped his team getting the result in the second half. If he
Yep.
kept the momentum and he kept the pace of the game the way it was in the second, they could have probably beaten us.
Mm. I think he went in his shell a bit once Timber went off and when Gabriel went off. I think he wasn't as comfortable with leaving the defensive line open as much. So he probably sat back a little
Mm.
bit more. I mean, that's unfortunate. But I mean, to be honest, that's been his tactic for most of the season. As soon as Odegaard was gone, he's been sitting back and they've been grinding out results more than anything else, to be honest.
Makes
Yeah,
sense also. I mean, I take the
it's
point from the from the
I
Emirates,
don't think it's a
whatever.
bad result for Liverpool. I
Yeah.
think it's a decent because I actually don't even think Liverpool played that well. I think they could have been better on the day
No,
as
we could
well.
have definitely been better. And I think,
Mm.
getting a point from a game like this where you can see where your issues are for slot is
Mm.
actually quite good.
yeah. I think the Liverpool midfield and our other players need to step up a bit more. If we are to win more games, we saw Jones did it
I
before.
think it was the first game Gravenberch didn't play well this season, to be
Yeah.
honest. I think they shut him down completely. They didn't give him as much space as he's been getting from the other games.
Robinson was also quite poor, and we were speaking about it that he may be at risk for Tsimikas' rotation. Robinson played the full game Carabao Cup midweek. I'm not sure full game, but he started, played the majority of it. So one to consider, one to look at as well. I got the team of the week up and Henderson in goalkeeper as the goalkeeper of the week.
What a
Happy with
player,
that.
lad.
Chalobah as well. So two Crystal Palace players. Let's talk about Luka Dean because someone got very lucky with those points. 7 points. Came off at 89 minutes. I think Villa
Just a bit
conceded in
earlier. It
the
was because
91st minute.
he actually went up. He actually went up quite early. I
Was
think
it
he went up in like
70s?
60 or 70 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very lucky though. Very lucky.
No, it was lucky. 70 minutes he played. just before that. I mean,
And he got
take
one
it easy.
bonus, and I don't understand
And
what.
for
But
coming
tough
off.
games coming up. Liverpool next up for him, so
Yeah.
lots for me to think about. I'm probably going to bench him, but someone I'm definitely not benching this week is 8 Nouri. I have a bone to pick with you lads, huh?
Uh,
You guys both
let's
convinced me on our online stream to start Gabriel over him because of how expensive he was. Even if he played the full game, they didn't keep a
Mm.
clean sheet. He was going to still get like 0 points or something. So absolutely
But
gutted with
but
that
but he
one.
got a very lucky goal, like Nouri, I think. I mean, it was a late in the game. There was a point he was looking, he was on for zero because they conceded two. He got a yellow card. I mean, it was so bad. He scored a goal and got absolutely no bonus, which was even worse. Like even
Okay,
that
so I'd
six
rather
point, like
take that six
it
point
felt
knock.
disgusting.
I'd rather take that 6 point knock than having played my triple captain and only got
Fairs,
6 points out of
fairs,
luck.
fairs, fairs,
So luck didn't go my way, but it's okay, I guess.
fairs, fairs.
Well, it's not my fault. Okay.
Razeen, I got your team up. Um, and we can just we can run through that quickly as well. Were you disappointed with your last minute moves?
I was just disappointed. No, I wasn't actually. So I thought about it and I was like, okay, Salah just to the rescue for me. Because I know Buonanotte didn't get the points. I watched him on that Friday game, hoping he did something. He didn't, but Spurs didn't either. And it would have probably been Kulusevski or Brennan Johnson in with Palmer.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah,
Palmer
we
and
couldn't
Salah
remember
were.
we couldn't remember who your option was for Palmer and the Spurs player.
Yeah, so Palmer and Salah got same points, am I right? Yeah, both of
Yeah,
them
they
got
they
10.
equaled each other, both got 10.
Yeah, and then Buonanotte got 2, and all the Spurs guys probably got 1 or 2 as well. So I wasn't too
Mm.
disappointed there. It was the exact same thing. And now I'm quite happy to have Salah heading into these next 2 games. If you look fixture wise, instead of the next 3 games actually, because Southampton coming up as well, compared to I think Palmer having United next, and then who do they have
And
after that? They've got
Newcastle United, United Newcastle.
United
Play
and
Newcastle
Arsenal.
already. Play
Tough,
Newcastle,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Okay,
I'm happy with that. I'm happy about Rashford as well. Even though they're playing Chelsea, I think that this new manager bounce and stuff, it's a good time to have him. Hopefully he can
Mm.
get some points. It'll be a good game that. And then just I was worried about Foden, but I think you guys have assured me since he came off yesterday, maybe I can keep him. And yeah, it's just about finding out more about Chris Wood's yellow flag, seeing what's the story with Gabriel and deciding what to do. Perhaps just starting face against Ipswich, because why not? Can I roll? Could I possibly roll this week? That
He
would be
possibly could,
great.
I think. I think Wood they say he's carrying a knock, so but I mean Nuno didn't give much more information besides saying that he's just carrying a knock. I expect him to start, to be honest.
Yeah, one more press set tomorrow, so let's see what comes of it.
No, I think Nuno's presser was today. I think it was
Oh,
today.
was it today
Yeah.
for the weekend? Oh,
I
so
think
that's
his
the last
presser
thing.
was today. Yeah. So, yeah,
No.
I don't think we're gonna get another one. Maybe, I might be wrong.
Or maybe
But I
one
heard
change
something.
then. Maybe I'll have to make one transfer. Let's see. Maybe I get Gabriel out for another defender and have Faze as my first sub. There's a lot that can be done. Maybe it's time for the Liverpool defender. Double up with Kelleher. Good fixtures coming up. Maybe Konate or Van Dijk.
Mm.
yeah, I'm
Let's
happy with Konate, and Kwanzaa made a mistake midweek as well, so I think Konate is pretty
Yeah,
safe in that
he was
team.
poor last night. Kwanzaa was
Um,
poor.
we'll quickly run through the midweek fixtures. Razeen, we're gonna get back to you with that video, so don't think you're off the hook there. Um,
Come on, we covered it all by now. You're gonna waste the people's time.
uh, um, I guess okay, if anybody really wants it, they can go on Kick and see the video.
Yeah, fair, fair.
Brighton was Liverpool. Since we're talking about Liverpool, 3-2. Razeen, you caught the game. I was just telling Mohammed Waseem as well. Tarek Lamptey from Brighton looked really good. An amazing right back.
It,
So
it,
he's
the
not starting.
star was Cody Gakpo.
Yeah.
Oh my. That first goal was just sublime.
Yeah, he did. He scored two great goals, and I mean, he makes everybody a minute's risk. We were chatting that Szoboszlai didn't have the best game either. Didn't look particularly confident finishing. And Jones had a great game against Chelsea, so there's competition there. We spoke about Robertson, Tsimikas. There's competition there, so there's minutes risk creeping up everywhere. So Liverpool looking quite good, but not for fantasy.
Best guy to have. It's been him since day one.
Yeah,
Mohammed
true.
Salah. And I said it so many times. He will not leave my team, even though even though I
Even though he
wildcarded
left
him
your,
out.
even though he left your
It took
team.
me 5 days to get him back in, and I'm so happy I got him back in. I just sleep better.
Um, the other shocking another not the other shocking result, but a shocking result. Spurs versus City. City out of the Carabao Cup, so everybody can.
City will travel well to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so that it for me it wasn't a surprise result.
I
For me, it was
always
expected, but I mean they rotated quite hard as well. City, I mean
yeah.
they played some, I think three of their players that were in their starting lineup were academy players, and their bench had a lot of academy players as well. So I mean
6
I'm not
p.m. on
surprised.
Sunday when I message you after Villa come to the Spurs stadium. Don't tell me anything. Just let's see what happens. Don't get too
No,
excited. Premier
no,
League, you guys
but
have, but
Villa's
yeah,
different.
home,
A
you
rotated
guys
City
have been
team,
better
and
at
I mean
home.
we are City's bogey team anyway, so um I expect a result from us usually there, but Villa might be a tough one, especially with some of the injuries that Spurs did pick up last night. So we're gonna actually have to see how that plays out.
Will
Because
Son
I
be
mean with
back?
Van de Ven, huh?
Will Son be back for Villa?
Son should start, yeah. So I think Son was probably fine to play midweek as well. I think they just gave him the week off just to recover a little bit more. But Van de Ven's out injured, so that might be difficult against Villa's pace. So we'll have to see how that works out over the weekend. I mean, I think we've been playing much better in the cups than we have been in the league either way. So I mean, it's probably going to be a very tough uh, game over the weekend.
We chatted already about Newcastle and Chelsea's team. Crystal Palace and Villa, we also
Mm.
spoke a bit about that Palace won midweek. Good for them, and I'm keeping an eye on them. Arsenal was pressed, and none of us really seemed to catch on to that game. But overall, it looked like the Arsenal comprehensive victory against Preston. Rested a few players. I can try and get the lineup first, but let's get it up quickly so that we can just cover that a bit more comprehensively.
Yeah, because I
Um,
know Saka came on a little bit in the game. I think Harvard started and got a goal. Um,
so the lineup shows Arsenal started Jesus, Sterling, Martinelli, Jorginho, Moreno, Newari, who is actually man of the match, Timber, Saliba, Kiwa, and Zinchenko, and Stratford as the goalkeeper. Saka came on, Luis Kelly, Partey, all came on.
am I
Um,
just imagining Havertz for some strange reason being involved? Or
yeah.
was he not involved at all and that's why I was like he got the night off or
No,
something?
he came on at halftime and he
Hmm,
scored. He scored
okay.
the third goal.
Yeah. Okay, I did remember that then.
Jacob Kiwior with 2 assists from centre back. If Gabriel is out, he's
Oh
probably
my
going to
word.
start.
It depends how
So,
long he's out for.
um,
But Razeen needs to bench Gabriel this week. Or
you,
sell him.
what are
Or
you
sell
doing
him.
with Gabriel? I'm on your team now.
I'm most likely playing. He'll most likely. So there was news out today that apparently was in contention to play in the week. I think they just didn't take the risk.
Oh
And
wow, yeah, he's back. He's back.
yeah, so I think
I
he
see.
might potentially be fit to play. So I'm hoping that he does play. And I'll probably start him regardless, to be honest. He's just consistent there for them, and I think Arsenal might go on another run soon, just in terms of getting clean sheets going over again once
Um,
they get a bit more
Me,
stability.
search
Because
up Gabriel Jesus. So when you search Gabriel, you get news of Gabriel Jesus. He will be unlocked after scoring his first goal since January. Oh,
wow, that's amazing.
so yeah, he's the guy. Maybe keep an eye on him. Maybe
He won't even start any games, to be honest. It's so unfortunate.
he
He's
will
just
be
been so
unlocked.
bad.
He's your man, Arteta.
any moves you're planning this week?
I'm probably getting rid of Dominic Solanke this week. He's very likely going to be the player out for me. And then I guess once we look at the players to buy, those are probably all of my options on on where I'm going to look to most likely to. I mean, uh, the next two fixtures against Bilal and Ipswich, both at home, probably not a bad idea, but apparently, like looking at this, he got 2 shots on target in his last 3 games. So it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. And I mean, he looked when he came off yesterday, not came off when the game ended yesterday. He looked like he was carrying a knock in like the last 10 minutes as he was running around. So I'm not too confident that he's probably going to be fit enough over the next couple of games to add value. So I might look at some options in terms of moving him out and then getting some cheaper players in there and using those funds elsewhere.
Okay. I'm gonna go to my team and then just run through that quickly. So I got the worst points from everyone, 69 points, but we were just all one apart from each other. Um,
Yeah.
in the end, like the move I made last minute was to bring Rico Lewis in and Gavardio. I doubled up on City defense, which in the end saved me. So happy with that. Kevin Lewin, Watkins blanked, Trossard blanked. I guess the big one was Kevin Lewin. He had arguably the easiest of the fixtures. He scored an offside goal. Just very frustrating owning him, particularly with Wood. Like we spoke about it today. Um, Hall and Winks on the bench both got me returns. Hall seems pretty decent, but Newcastle still haven't been as fluid as they were last season. So hopefully they can turn that around. Winks, I'm actually thinking of starting this week. So from my side, I'm thinking about rolling my transfer, playing Winks. Semenyo Hall will be on the bench. And there was I think Robertson was also going to be on the bench. So I'll see from there. If Cavaria is injured, then at least I have Hall coming on for him, or I can play Semenyo. But I'm probably gonna roll. That'll be my. I think the safest bet. I'm still holding up the wild card, and no need to wild card just yet.
Yeah, especially not this week. I don't think there's a case for wildcarding at this point.
Yeah.
I think you've got time to tinker a little bit more before deciding.
Looking at the fixtures, I mean, some really tasty fixtures there. Uh, we spoke about it earlier that we were really happy with, like, we were really excited for each and every fixture being teams seem to be on similar levels, and we can see it going either way. Newcastle versus Arsenal's early kickoff on Saturday. I mean that has the potential to be an upset.
We'll have another 4-4, just like it was with that Chick Tiote equalizer about like 10,
Hey,
15 years ago. That would be mad
Classic
that
just to have an
Premier League
entertaining game
classic.
like that. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be a good game, but I mean, at this point in time, I don't know where Newcastle are going to get their goals from, especially with some of the injuries that they had now. It's more because I think Isak went up injured as well. So, Newcastle goal threat might be an issue. I think Arsenal probably get a result here. I mean, they've got a draw and loss in their last two. I think they probably turn it around this weekend and we get a result there with Newcastle. And again, it's going to be like one of those 2-0 wins. Don't concede any goals. But I mean, obviously, St. James's Park's a difficult place to go to get a result. So you never really know. But Newcastle haven't really been impressing much so far.
um
Saka,
for
Saka just looks like so essential right now.
Mm.
so did you say Saka? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, Saka. I mean, I think I'll probably wait till after the Chelsea game before putting him in. That game week 12, when I get Palmer, I'd probably like to get Saka as well, but I just don't know how. And maybe time to get Haaland out then in game week 12.
The the premium midfielders all seem to be returning slowly, and Haaland seems to be the
Mm.
only City option. It's so difficult to get it right and to get everyone in. I do think Saka is. he- I mean, Salah, Saka, Palmer seem they can deliver against anybody. I actually think Haaland's the one who can't deliver against everybody. But to go
And
without him,
especially with the injuries that City have at the moment, they're potentially lacking some creativity within their team as well. So I mean, A lot of their
Mm.
wingers are injured. A lot of their attacking midfielders are injured. So maybe it's not a bad time to consider potentially Haaland out for one of the other premium mids and going for the reasonably priced strikers where there's a lot of options there. And I mean, there's a lot of returns in the cheaper price strikers at the moment. So that's definitely a consideration for those that are tempted on moving away from Haaland because 15.4 is a bit of a stupid amount of funds to spend on a striker that's only going to score you one the game, to be honest. It's not worth it
But I
as
definitely think this conversation will intensify like closer to game week 12. I think this week with Bournemouth, they're playing Bournemouth. I don't think anyone's going to do the move now, but I
correct.
just think, yeah, it's definitely important to keep an eye on him and then also to keep an eye on all three of those premium midfielders that we spoke about. But I think game week 12 is going to be the turning point.
Everybody's talking about
That's
game
probably when
12. I'm holding up my wildcard for then, so we'll see. I also don't want to play too early, but uh, we'll see when it comes. City versus Bournemouth. Would be so the afternoon kickoffs on Saturday is City vs Bournemouth, Ipswich vs Leicester, Liverpool vs Brighton, and Forest vs West Ham, and Southampton vs Everton. Um, obviously, we'll be me and Razeen will be keeping an eye on Liverpool vs Brighton, but City vs Bournemouth, I expect City to win.
I wouldn't
Well,
mind a Haaland blank if Bournemouth can beat them and we can go back to the top of the table. I'll even captain him to a 2 pointer. I don't mind. Just tell me and I'll do it. Seriously, I want to be back on top. I really, seeing City lose would just be incredible. Captain Salah over Haaland. Let's not all just go with Haaland again because everyone's doing it. We've been disappointed enough times. Maybe this is
I
the
don't
week
have
for
a
a different.
choice at this point. I have to go. I have to go Haaland because I don't have Salah in my team, and I'm not going to captain Palmer away to Man United.
We
Yeah, I think it's time to get you, bro. I'm coming. Tell me of other players now. Tell me. So say it again so I can prove you wrong this time.
There's
we
always other
were
players. We just
we
hope
were we
there's
were talking about sorry, we were talking about Haaland in the sense that the community seems to be going with a narrative Haaland out, strengthen the midfield. But I think the more narrative should be like you're saying, Razeen, Haaland captain, yes or no. I think there's nobody else in City that you can really look at. And I think this midweek game confirmed it. They played Foden up front and it was completely flat. They sold
Yeah.
Alvarez in the window. They only have Haaland. So, but I'm also I'm looking at a captain away this week. I might end up with Salah as well.
He's the
But
only other sensible option, right? Because who else would you captain? The favorability of fixtures for anyone else isn't really there at the moment. So
Would you
your
captain
best
him
bet.
Bromo against Fulham? I mean, I feel he's proven himself enough this season to be an essential pick. And why not a captain like a punt?
I think he was a great captain against Ipswich. I wouldn't captain him against Fulham. I think Fulham are reasonably organized defensively. I mean, they're a team that doesn't keep a lot of clean sheets, but they don't concede a lot of goals. They'll concede one goal, and then that's usually it.
very interesting fixture, United Chelsea. I mean, new manager, interim manager, very exciting. I think I can see a potential victory for United. I think a lot of people will be underestimating them and not expecting them um, to pitch up. But
I think it can
it's
be a fun result because both teams have very average defenses. So
yeah.
hopefully the attackers are going to come to the party.
Hey, Razeen, we were talking about this Rashford move of yours. Um,
The cartel
the
pick for the future
the cartel move for the
from the
future.
future. Yeah.
Are you
You've
expecting
seen
Rashford
the
to get a
Ten Hag.
return?
You were planning that you got Ten Hag sacked now and
Yeah.
then brought in Rashford before just to make it seem like it's just a casual Rashford change and then Ten Hag gets sacked and then they score 5 in the week and
It's all
Rashford's
yeah. But I
potentially going
think
to
if
start.
Captain Fulham against United this week, the man is gonna run rings around them, bro.
Yeah, potentially. But I mean, I'd like to see how Vinicius sets up against like a stronger team. And against Leicester, it looked like it just went guns
He
blazing.
looked like a real manager last night, didn't he? I mean, it burns
Yeah.
me to say, but Thankfully, he's not going to be there for too long. I mean, with the new manager coming in. But did you see him when he just walked around to that ovation after the win last night? It was just,
He's got aura. He's got an aura
yeah,
about
he
him.
does. He's got that aura, and it
Mm.
just looked like Manchester United were. I mean, I was with a Manchester United fan earlier, one of my friends. I was with Mo, and I'm telling him, bro, Manchester United are back. And he just didn't want to say it, but you could see how much he
Yeah.
wanted to.
The the
Because I mean,
the
I think they felt it under Ole, right? Where they felt they were back then, and
the
now it's one of the ex-players again. It's exciting for them, but I mean, they've got an exciting manager also going to take over, so we'll have to see how that
the
goes.
um the multiverse question of the week. Do you think if Benny McCarthy was still there instead of Van Nistelrooy and Ten Hag was sacked, do you think Benny McCarthy would have been
Oh,
manager of Manchester
ah,
United?
because he's got management experience of Cape Town City FC, right?
Yeah.
So he could of course have, unfortunately not, because I don't think he
Would have
was
been such a
assistant.
sight. It would have
Would
been
have
such
been
a
great.
sight.
Would have been so good. Wow. So true.
But have we spoken about Villa Spurs?
Not really, but gonna be an interesting game to watch. A high line versus attacking Villa forwards or fast-paced Villa forwards without Mickey van der Ven. So Villa could have a party unless Spurs make some tactical changes there. But I don't know. I think the amount of energy they spent last night in the Carabao Cup game, I am concerned with the Villa fixture. To be honest, I think I don't see the players having the energy with the amount they spent last night to try and come back, on this one very easily. Might be a slow one if they. But I mean, Postecoglou plays one way only, right? So regardless of whether players are tired or not, he's
Yeah.
gonna make sure they're gonna play that very attacking style.
We're gonna go into our players to watch. Mohammed Waseem, you put him up there. You're looking for a new striker, so
He's one of my options for Solanke at the moment, just because Solanke is playing too deep at the moment, and Cunha's fixtures look really good, and he's got a couple of returns over the past couple of games as well. And I mean, I think everything that's happening through seems to be going through this guy, so he's interesting me as a decent option. But I guess from all the options that I've identified, he's probably the most expensive one, which makes him a little bit concerning in terms of funds available for other places I want to actually invest in my team. But I mean, those fixtures are too good to pass up, man. I mean, it's Wolves and they are struggling at the moment. But I feel like that 2-2 draw against Brighton might even change some of the mentality to hopefully try and do better in the next few games, especially because they had a really difficult start to the season.
I think it's interesting. I think a lot of people are putting Wolves assets into their team based on fixtures,
Mm.
but based on Wolves as a team, you'll see it when we go through the other players. They're definitely the team that you expect the least from.
Yeah.
The next striker that we'll speak about is Raul Jimenez. Um, Fulham fixtures also look pretty decent. Bradford, Crystal Palace, Wolves, Spurs,
Wolves,
Brighton,
yeah.
and Arsenal. Not as good as the Wolves fixtures, but he's been on form already.
Mm. And he's got better returns anyway over the past few games, and he's priced better as well at 5.7 million. That zero point 0.8 that you could, or zero point 0.7 that is it zero point 0.8 that you can use elsewhere in the team might be much more valuable to me, because it might be the difference in the premium midfielder that I end up choosing if I can make more funds available, but
I
also
think
great
But Wood,
fixtures.
surely, guys, Wood is becoming must-have up front now.
Yeah.
He's going to be 8 million by the end of the season, surely.
I say we can keep it up though, right? The problem is with these, I'll call them budget forwards. They don't ever end up having, it's not very often that they end up having a great run for the whole season. And especially someone like Wood in that Nottingham Forest team, Forest are going to drop off at some point in time. You'd expect them to, right? And as soon as they start dropping off, he might not play. And also, I don't think he's had the greatest injury record over the past few seasons
no,
as well. I
he
know.
is injury prone.
Yeah, which is also a worry there too. So as soon as he becomes injured, it becomes a. But I mean, I guess we're fortunate enough that there's so many decent options at a lower price that if Wood ever gets injured, he's a straight swap to much more options below him, like all of these guys that we've actually talking about now.
Yeah, I think Wood is one of the best options at the moment based on his returns in previous seasons as well. He's always been one of consistency. Cat is Johan Visser. I'm actually I'm more inclined to go to Visser. Um, find Bradford very explosive as a team, particularly attacking team.
And he's very consistent, Versa. He's always involved. I mean, even if they lose, this guy is usually on the score sheet or getting some kind of an assist. And him and Burmo, they link up very well together. So, but also very decent fixtures: Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, Leicester, Villa, Newcastle. All teams that have had leaky defenses. And to be honest, I think every team's had leaky defenses this season, besides potentially Liverpool and Arsenal, were been reasonably okay.
But
But
do you
but I
want
think
to double up both of them?
what's this?
Do you really want to double up on both Mbomo and Visos?
I actually don't think it's a bad idea, just because they both get so many returns every game. And I mean, Versa at 6 million, and I think Belmo at
Yeah.
7.5 million. If you're doubling up at that price, I don't think it's actually a bad idea. But I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
I
you're right.
think
If Brentford don't play
yeah.
well,
I think
it will.
if your cheap striker is getting a goal or an assist per game, you're more than happy.
Yeah.
And if Mboma scores and you have him, great. And chances are Versa's going to be the one assisting, or vice
Hmm.
versa.
Yeah, I think they're decent combo to have. I'm not against doubling up on these two, especially because of how
Um,
cheap Versa is.
I have a few options that I want to speak about. So I have another striker up, Jean-Philippe Mateta from Crystal Palace. He's got a return against Spurs in Game Week 9. He's got Wolves next, and I just feel like Crystal Palace are coming back on form. I think he's a differential one to watch, in the sense that I actually think my gut feeling tells me Palace are going to beat Wolves. I don't know though. Obviously, I just it's just a gut feeling. So I think there's a few more things to come from him. I picked him over Eze because Eze's got a knock, so I'm not sure whether he'll start or not. But a lot of people thinking about moving out Dominic Solanke, and I just wanted to put him out there that there is a straight swap option.
Hmm.
And Razeen, what are your thoughts on Darwin Núñez? Because he's 7.1. I like
I
him.
mentioned it last week on the deadline stream.
I like him. I think the problem with Nunes before was one, his minutes were not guaranteed. Now Mohammed mentioned that Cody Gakpo might play up there as well, and Cody Gakpo has been on like he's waiting to break into that team, that starting lineup. That he's just knocking every chance he gets. But for now, it seems like Jota's out for a little while. Darwin is in there. Darwin 7.1, and Liverpool's fixtures are turning around.
Give it a go. If you really want to for 2 to 3 weeks before your wild card, you the right guy to give him a chance in that team. Why not?
I'll have to
Even
see my
Is
funds.
Gakpo also a forward, or is he a
No,
midfielder?
as a midfielder. I believe he's a
No.
midfielder. Let me confirm. I'll confirm quickly. Um, Razeen, you're talking me into this, man.
I would consider it. I considered it briefly last week, but I think your team is set up better for it. Gakpo is actually a forward as well. He's also 7.1.
Hmm.
Oh my God. Um,
I remember at some point seeing Gakpo there, so I was confused as to why he's there, but because it makes more sense for him to be a mid. But
Gakpo actually has more minutes than Darwin this season.
mm, and that one started the last one.
Yeah.
No, but that one will start in the league the next 2 games for sure.
I think Darwin starts this game
But
against Brighton.
why won't you play Gakpo, Diaz, Salah front three?
I just think because he rested Darwin now in midweek.
Yeah, but I would thought Waseem Gakpo might have said, not starting me in the big games, starting me in the cups, and bang 2 goals in. Now why can't I start? I expect if Darwin starts one, and Gakpo comes on and does something, I don't think Darwin starts again.
But Darwin's been playing well. Oh, he's been playing very well off the ball. He's been playing well
Mm,
defensively. He's been maybe not from an FPL perspective much as yet, but he's been playing well. So I think this weekend he will start. We'll see what happens after.
mm.
I think I think
But
he's an
nice one.
option.
Nice
I think
shout. Good shout for sure.
The next player I have on the list is Matthias Nunes from Manchester City, and I spoke about him on our deadline stream this past Saturday, where 4.9, he's playing left wing, City got big a fair amount of injury woes and fair amount of players off form, and he's playing well. He just strikes me as a player who's also waiting to break into that team, and he looks good
I
on
think
the
it's
left.
wrong not to have him. When I saw his price, after you mentioned him on the deadline team, when I saw his price, and I'm thinking you have players like Winks in your team, 4.5.
Mm.
Just put that extra 0.4. It's not like, I mean, if it depends whether or not you have three City players, and it's hard to have three nailed on City players that you're sure about. So why
That's
not give him one slot for a couple of weeks and see what happens?
my problem now is I doubled up. Like it paid off last week, but I doubled up on City defense. So I have
City
three City
defense, yeah.
players, so I can't get him at this point anymore unless I wait a
Do
week.
you think Pep? Do you think Pep would play Guardiola left wing?
I think if Ten Hag is playing Mazraoui number 10,
No, because I mean, if you look at Guardiola plays, right, he plays on the edge of the box most of the time,
hmm,
off that left hand side. And I mean, there was times last season where he was playing the furthest forward on that left hand side, and I think whoever was playing on the left wing was cutting in and playing inside right at some point in time. So maybe he plays Ake left back and then pushes Guardiola up further up
I
the
I
pitch.
don't see it. I don't see it happening
I wonder. It'll be a very interesting ploy if he just wanted to mix it up a little bit more.
because I think technically he can push Foden out left
Yeah,
if he
possibly.
needs to. He can push Foden out left. I don't even know who they're going to go for right now that Savinho is out, Bob
Mm.
is out.
Bernardo Silva will probably play right wing.
Yeah, and then
And then he'll play Kovacic, Foden, and what's that other fella's name?
Ikai Gundogan.
Gundogan, yeah. Those three will probably play in midfield, and then Nunez left wing, Haaland, Bernardo, front three.
I
Which
just
is
think
quite a sad front three for City, to be honest.
yeah, I think this Nunes is someone to look at.
And
I
I think
definitely
so.
I just have a feeling if City go on a rampage, get 3 4 goals, he's on the field on the pitch. He's gonna get
He's going to be
double
involved.
digit
Yeah,
for four
he's
point
going to be
nine.
involved.
It's just
What's in a name? Darwin Nunes and Matthias Nunes. You want them both.
You have to do both. You have to do both now.
me.
It's the week for the Nunez's, yes. It's the week for
I
the Nunez's.
can't.
Take out
I
100
got no funds, man. I'm a poor guy. I need to wildcard, and I bring these two in, and then they get benched.
But who are you considering down in for?
So Kevin Lewin would be the only one. Let me get my team.
No, so this is what you need to do. Haaland to Darwin Nunez. You need to be
Yeah, I
brave.
agree.
And then you need to take Hadi Winks to Mateus Nunez.
Yeah, and then you've got a lot of money. You can put
And then
another
you can
premium
cover
mid.
and that opens your city play, your city slot to bring in Nunez. You
Ooh,
have to do Haaland
brilliant,
to
Bilal.
Darwin. Because that was the competition when they both joined the league at the same time, right? You need to make that statement signing in your team.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah,
Go
I'm
for
not
it. I'm
ready for
telling you,
it.
I know it's only 2 a.m. now where you are. It's good time for us to convince you to do these things. Let us
Yeah,
catch up a little. You can
we
play your
can all
wild
move.
card and
We'll move forward
No,
go
no,
from
no.
together.
there again.
That's it.
There's no catching up at this point. You guys need to do these moves to catch up. Actually,
I can't justify bringing down into my team. I'm gonna potentially regret the statement that I'm saying right now, but I just can't justify it. Like he's just, he's
Please
hurt me
put
so
the
bad in the past.
develop next
He's
week
hurt.
after
He's hurt me
Darwin scores
so.
a break.
Yeah, he's hurt me so badly in the past. Like with his arm thrown goal. I think that one game was last season where he got sent off for fighting, or was it the season before, where like just randomly through a game, he just starts fighting with Austin. He got sent off and he was in my team. Like, what are you doing?
but even to be honest, even this Matthias Nunes is a red card risk.
Yeah, he
Um,
is.
it's
Picks up a
never
lot of
nice.
yellows. Picks up a
Yeah,
lot of yellows.
never nice to have a red card risk in your team. But that's all from the episode. I'm sorry about the technical issues I'm having. If anybody doesn't know, I'm moving home, so I have a lot of I'm moving countries, so it's a lot of a lot of things that I'm juggling here. But thanks for guys for being patient, and it was great having another long chat. If anybody
And
stays to the end of
having
the video,
having a third member.
yeah, and yeah, Razeen's part of the family. Can't let him off the hook so easily. Just by the way, where were you, Razeen? Tell the people.
Had dinners and had things going on. It's been a busy week. It's
Rosine, the
quite
influencer.
busy with preps for big movie premiere this week as well, since it's Diwali, so it's one of the biggest weeks on the
Oh
Bollywood movie
yes, the Bollywood
calendar.
movie. Yeah, that's true.
There's a big restaurant opening in Santon this week as well that everyone's been talking
Both
about. So
both me and Mohammed are very keen to try it out. Just probably a bit
Yeah,
too busy for
you
us
need to get
now.
us
We'll wait
you
for
need
it.
to get us bookings there, bro.
yeah, we need to sort that out. I have a long list of bookings to make for a long list of people, so let's get all of that done soon.
But take care, guys. I'm gonna stop the